Okay, good morning. This is the August 13th, 2024 meeting of the Recycling Committee. Committee members present are
Vanessa Burkade.
David O'Connell.
Jean Landis Nauman, and we also have with us our Massachusetts MAC, Todd Cap. Thank you, Todd, for joining us. Paul Basler, our superintendent of streets, trees and parks, will not be with us this morning. Okay. So Vanessa, you said,
We'll call the meeting to order. What are we on?
okay. Okay, and I have to say this meeting is being recorded by the local scene, formerly PAC TV. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Seeing no one, and we don't. Everybody help me keep an eye on that board in case somebody comes in on Zoom, so I can admit them. Okay, the first item is to approve the minutes of June 11th. And Vanessa, you asked if we could postpone that. Okay, so we're going to table the minutes.
Table Paul too.
I'll kick him in the shins next time I see him.
Okay. I did speak with Paul when he had emailed me, told me he couldn't come. He does have our email, Vanessa, on the recommended signage for the transfer station, and he was going to start working on that this week. There really wasn't, even though he and I talked for 2 hours, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I needed to convey to you. Sticker sales went well. The reception of our little bottle openers was lukewarm. People were
Reception of our
bottle openers, the handout that we gave
Yeah.
was a little lukewarm. They were really looking forward to the bags, and I told him as soon as we were able to assess our financial position, we would certainly consider that for a future year. He did tell me that there are ongoing meetings with the group proposing to do the region transfer station at the MBTA. As you know, that group met with the selectmen a few weeks ago, did a presentation on generally what it is they want to do. And apparently we haven't gotten much more in the way of specifics. They are urging the town to sign a host agreement. Paul did contact some other communities to see what they had in their host community agreements. So we have, some ideas of what to include, but I think the town administration is generally waiting for some more details before they will go any further. Of course, the town planner is involved, and probably every department, because we're talking about some safety issues, so the fire department will be involved. The planning board will certainly get involved at some point, with the specifics of what they're doing. So it's still kind of early days for this.
What material are they?
This is that garbage hauling.
Trash,
Always.
where they want to take in all the trash from the area and ship it out by train to another state, probably Ohio. That's the proposal right now. I think there's something on the town website. It's general, it's very general, but that's the gist of what it is they want to do. I think I told you I'd met with Terry Murray. She is their consultant. I shared with her my concerns. My son lives in Braintree. They have one of these right off the highway in Braintree. And he said, there's a lot of trash flows out of those trucks going to and from. There's some odor involved, as you can imagine, especially during the summer, all that trash. And I think some of the bigger concerns is just the number of trucks that would be entering the
That's the other
town.
thing, the amount of traffic is gonna generate
the number of
heavy traffic.
Trucks, and while this group seems to think that they can mandate that all the trucks use Route 3, we've pointed out to them that people, we have no towns to the east of us, so they're either coming from the north, the south, or the west. They're coming from the west, they're going to be using 106 or 27. And then they'll end up on 3A.
Or Route 44.
They could come Route 44, yeah. But it depends on where they're coming from, yeah. So, I mean, there's quite a few issues to be resolved, as supposedly it's a enclosed building, that the trucks will come in and,
If they'll build down at the parking lot there,
as I understand that there's a lease with the owner of property there, the O'Donnell property. So I think it's gonna be on property adjacent, but they'll use the rail line to bring in the cars and send them back out.
those cars all go through the center of town. There's no way out of there.
They
except the
do.
Center of town.
They do, so all that will be going right.
All that trash and all that stink will go right through the neighborhoods.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, so, I mean, there's still a lot more to be revealed and learned about this proposal, so still early days, but.
Is there another meeting plan?
I'm not privy to it. They have a working group. I have, when they first presented, I did ask respectfully that they include us in some of the discussions. I have not been invited to the working group meetings. But again, I think it's early days.
Well,
in
next
this group.
time they present, I would like to be there.
Yeah, I think you, and also if, South Shore Recycling wants to have an ear at the table, would be really
Yeah,
useful because
Mhm.
there's the South Shore community
Right,
trash.
right.
And if people are worried about what our tipping charges are gonna be locally, this might be a jump ship thing, or it might be, let's assess what this really means to what's
Mhm.
going on locally.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it just not to bore you with this, but the increase in traffic is enough to just say no.
yeah. I mean,
And you know,
there are
and you're-
complaints now about
and
the
you,
traffic.
well, and you pointed out the fact that everything's coming from from that way, this way.
Yeah,
And unless that 44, which means they'd have to divert down to, on 495, whatever it is, to get to 44. And then, that's,
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
Plus, there's a limited distance that they're gonna travel to come here, because there's other options.
That's right.
On the other side of 24, so you really
Yeah.
take 24 and split it, anything this side. of
Would come
24
this
probably
way.
Come here, anything that way would go to
Mhm.
Harvey. Probably Harvey, because that's the closest one that I can think of.
Okay.
Harvey in town or Harvey's,
Harvey's out towards the pike.
and it's a what then?
That's a transfer.
Plus you
station.
get, then you have increase in train traffic too.
you do. Say, it's the other thing that
Well,
came.
MBTA would probably get a hefty leasing charge on their rounds.
Well,
Yeah.
perhaps, but then again, as you pointed out, it goes right through town.
So-
I mean, I wanna know what's in it for the town,
Yeah, I think basically.
because we're giving up a lot.
Taxes, tax income,
I heard free service to the residents too. for curbside.
possible,
what?
possible, free service.
Curbside service. which
But
doesn't,
then do
obviously,
we still maintain a recycling?
Definitely
center?
shuts down. You'd definitely need more at that
It would
point.
be hard to motivate people to drive just for recycling.
Yeah, I think it would be. So I told Paul, I'm always pleased when I'm down there because there are so many people across age, it's just a huge group of people that are recycling, and I'm loath to do anything to impede that. Our goal is to get more material recycled, not less, so. There's lots of concerns there. You should
Good.
probably share what you just said with Paul, because he is at that table. I mean, he is part
I
of the
told
town
him,
administration.
I told him, I said, this, because we had a discussion about this before he's the one that told me, he's like, well, they're gonna offer free curbside service. And I said, well, it's not the most perfect setup.
Mhm.
As we all know, and we've all attended Claire's meetings, it's, you know, you go from the transfer station where you guys are separating everything to curbside, your quality's gonna go down. Plus, if it's free, the residents aren't gonna care. There's a lot of factors.
And that won't
Yeah.
be free forever either. I mean, it'll be free and then we'll be all locked in and then they'll say, now you have to pay this.
At
Have
a,
an alternative.
at a certain point, the sweetheart deal goes away.
Right.
It always does. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
I just want to say something. My nephew does that.
Does
Drives
what?
Tractor trailer and
Mhm.
he brings the roll-offs to
Mhm.
the train yard and then they unload them and put them on the trains
Mhm.
and.
Where is this?
In Massachusetts or not?
Massachusetts.
Yeah,
In
it's
Massachusetts.
kind of like near Fitchburg or something. I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
exactly.
Devon's.
Okay.
He's going to Devon's. Devon's has the rails right there where they transfer.
I can ask him.
It's probably
Well,
Devon's.
but what's the point of the story?
The point of the story is it's a clown show. They buy crappy equipment and they're all blowing tires and there's. Every time you go somewhere, there's a long line and so, you know, you have 10 or 12 diesel trucks in line running. And what's that doing to the air quality? And bad idea. It's a clown show. That's after a year of listening to him practically every day and all the things that come up.
Mhm.
And the tops, they pull over the top, they're always ripped or they can't get them and stuff is blowing out the back. And he's bummed out because he's a driver, he's responsible for that.
Right.
So,
Right, so he doesn't have the equipment he needs to do the job. Yeah, yeah, that's too bad. All right, well. If I hear more, I will certainly share that with you. I will follow up with Paul on the signage. There is some new signage there over at the yard waste section. And they're very nice. It looks very nice. Thanks. Anything else on that? Okay, outreach assistance. I sent you all a copy of the signed contract with Jess. She and I will be talking next week. So if there's any particular topics or approaches that you are interested in seeing her pursue, please let me know. I will try and convey all of your thoughts to her. I think she's pretty experienced at what she's doing. The examples she sent us were very good. So I'm really looking forward to working with her, seeing what we can do to get more information out to people. Because what we hear all the time is people don't know what to do. They don't know how to recycle. They don't know what to recycle. They get frustrated because in their minds, things change. Well, and we know that it's all we're providing feedstock. And so it all depends on what the manufacturer needs in the way of feedstock. And I think to me, that's going to be one of the messages I want her to share is why do we recycle? What happens with this material? And why does it change sometimes as to what can go and what can't go? Because I think that's part of the confusion for people. They just say, you know, and then they get into wishful recycling. We see that a lot. Well, I don't know what to do with this. Maybe it could be recycled. I'll just put it in this bin. So to me, that's a really important part of what she's going to do for us. But she may have some great ideas. She, you know, she just finished a big project for another town. So she comes to us with knowledge and background. So I'm really, you know, hoping that she will bring some good ideas to us. And she also wants to hear from us as to what we want.
So will she come to our next meeting or how will we get?
I will ask her about either zooming in or coming to a meeting.
Make sure you hit all the seasonal stuff too. You know,
Yep,
wrapping paper, that goes in the trash for the most part.
yep. Yeah, all the stuff I used to do through the newspaper.
Especially during the holidays with all the food, make sure you push the food waste heavily.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do with your turkey carcass, you know, whatever it is, but Yeah, I would definitely make sure the seasonal stuff is a big point. So we get all those questions on, up in Boston on the seasonal stuff. And it's
Okay.
every year too, so.
Okay,
The other thing you can do is, who's in charge of Recycle Smart? Is it still Janice? I think it's still Janice. Reach out to Janice, RA, up in Boston. and, They've got all the stats on what people are asking. Like they'll know, so you can kind of tailor it a bit to what people
Okay.
are asking on the state level too. Because it typically trickles down to the local level.
okay.
Um,
I'm also gonna ask Claire, because she, you were at the last meeting, and we were going over how her time is spent, and she was saying that she spends a lot of time responding to the public's questions. So I think she would also be a good source to find out what locally people are asking about.
Was that Claire you were talking about or someone on their staff?
Claire.
That
Claire
was
was
fire,
over
and it was surprising. I didn't realize that she spent that much time with public, actually reaching out to the public base.
Mhm.
It was pretty
You set up an AI bot to do that.
This future's here now.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to her.
Organizing all of this in a presentable way.
Yeah, and getting it out there on a
Yeah.
regular basis. I think that's, a more consistent type of approach.
Have we gotten any response to this? Or do we know if anything's, have you seen that?
No.
I picked that up at the public library yesterday.
Oh,
Did you ever meet with Donald again? Did he ever
I
reach out to
did.
us?
And I thought we had an understanding, and he sent me an email about different topics and dates, and I responded, and then I never heard anything from him. So, okay, so that's interesting.
What is that?
Kingston
Well, so,
recycling.
the summer reading theme was broadly conservation, and recycling fell in under that, and different things. And so different libraries run in different directions from how they interpret and want to use the summer theme.
Okay.
But sometimes materials are provided through Mass State Library Systems, and Mass Library System. And so Donald had met with us at one of the meetings. I think you were here.
I was here for that.
Yeah, and looking for ideas, and then the communication went to Jean.
Hmm.
And anyways, I was in there yesterday and just picked this up. I think, it's an interesting use of
Yeah, did
not
you,
wasting a lot of stuff, but it's not very inviting to.
did
interact
you
with.
try any of that?
No, I didn't do it.
Okay, very,
So probably just link to different websites that we
Okay.
gave him.
Yeah,
okay. It could be something Stephen did. But yeah, I offered a couple of different dates and a couple different topics, and I never heard them. So I think the program is essentially over now.
Yeah, sometimes it's the line before
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
over.
because you emailed me about it saying if I was available to come talk, and I said, yeah. And then
Yeah, I
never heard
know.
anything.
And I
Now I
told
think
him
about
that and never got anything back.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
guess they felt they had enough people signed up.
I have a comment about you do recycling on Facebook. You should lock down comments, and someone has to approve the comment. It has to be relative.
Gene, someone's coming in. Someone that just popped up. I think it was, it's gone now. It was,
Okay, thank you.
what do you think? Well, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I get busy talking and forget to keep.
I just saw it pop up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that. You're in a better position to see. All right.
So the point is
Yeah,
that people just like to say stupid stuff and just
do.
annoy.
Yeah.
And.
yeah,
they don't
I
think
think
it's
any,
something relevant or
Yeah.
helpful.
well, I said, I want to see if she can set up a Facebook page for us. And like you say, it would just be information. It wouldn't be a debate.
If someone sends in a legitimate question, you
Mhm.
could post it, but that needs to be locked down.
I agree. It gets ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Okay, so if you have any other thoughts on the outreach, let me know. Grant funds budget. Are you hearing anything at all about when we might hear in our grant application for the swap shop?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we're all hoping. This is now a public meeting, so I don't know how much I should say, but
Well, no, just say what you feel comfortable
it's
saying.
Everett. Correct.
Oh, Everett.
We're hoping to have an announcement for the mass recycle event. That's coming up next. month. Up in Worcester.
Oh, the awards thing.
We're hoping that.
And when is that?
I think it's the 18th of next month. Is the
Oh,
mass
September
recycle-
18th?
Yeah, I think it's the mass recycle event that they're hoping to get the word out by
Okay,
on that day.
okay.
At the event.
Hi, Everett.
You're muted.
Okay, so that would be good. Because then what I would like to do is, I think we know which vendor we want to go with. I'll verify, the dollars, make sure everything hasn't changed. And then work with Paul to see what would be good timing to have it. Number one, to have the spot prepped and then to have it delivered, so. So as soon as we know, one way or the other, I mean, we have sufficient funds, we can do it with what we have, but it would be great to
You should
get
know
that,
better.
because as you know, we have other things we could certainly use our grant money for. Once again, I reiterated to Paul that if he's got needs for this grant money, to let us know, so that we can take that into account. He seems to prefer that we be able to spend it, which I very much appreciate. But we all know this next budget could be a little tighter than what we've seen with the increase in a couple of the budgets, particularly the schools. So we'll have to see how it goes. But and then the regular RDP grant money, when is that expected to be released?
Once it's announced, I think you get it within 45 days.
Right, so is that also in September?
That I don't know. So I
Okay.
do know the grants are completed. The QA QC is all done. It's all packaged and it went right up the chain of command. So I don't know. I don't, John has it now or if the commissioner has it, but it's
It's
waiting
on
for
its
final
way.
approval, yeah.
Okay, but we don't have a date for,
like you said, we're hoping for the mass recycle event to announce it.
okay,
We'll know like 3 days before.
Okay.
Usually
Alright.
how it works out, but we
yeah,
try.
I mean, we're fine.
The goal-
It's not like
The
it's
goal is to
critical.
kind of use that event to announce the grant.
Sure. Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
only goal.
I mean, we've got, I did get some, current figures. And find them.
But you guys didn't have any questions that I'm aware of, but I don't think you guys have anything, any pointers, which is good. So you were one of the few that I don't think had, there was no really follow-up meetings.
Okay. So I think, I don't know why I can't find my budget right now, but I think we're good. We still have about 4,000 in the, here it is. Excuse me. We still have about 4,000 in the CMAS account. So 4,700 in the CMAS account, and then 15,789 in our RDP funds. I'm guessing that we're probably looking at close to 10,000 total for the swap shop, for the shed,
Mm,
and the stones and everything. So it's just a ballpark figure, but that's what I've been
Did
working.
you order the shed yet?
No, we can't. You
Oh,
told
yeah.
us we can't order it.
Oh, because you're waiting for the grant. You filed
Yeah.
for the grant. That's
They told
right.
us we couldn't retrospectively get it,
Sorry.
so.
Or I would have ordered it.
My senility is kicking in.
That's all right. You only
Next year's
have
a
32 towns to remember, it's all right.
31.
Oh, only 31, sorry.
That's even worse, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're okay. If we get the grant, that'd be great. And then, of course, excuse me, the additional RDP money that would come in. So I think, right now, as a committee, we're pretty good financially. No concerns there, unless anybody else has some. Okay. Organic collection. As you know, we did put a yellow flyer in with the rules and regulations that everybody got when they got their new sticker this year. And I was really kind of hoping to see a bit of a bump in the amount of material in those bins. So far, I can't say that I've noticed a huge.
It's really consistent.
Yeah.
There's not a real increase.
No, and I asked Paul if Black Earth had said anything to him about the possibility of needing a third bin, and he said no. He hasn't heard that from them. So
Pretty full yesterday.
was it? Okay. Well, yesterday, that's pretty good. Yesterday was Monday. They pick it up on Friday, so.
It's like this much from the top, the one I was in.
Oh, yeah?
I oftentimes will just
I
get
didn't
those
look at
two
the
to
other
see
Okay.
what people are putting in.
Yeah, I wondered if they did pick up on Friday because it was so.
They did.
They did pick up.
Yeah.
In
While I
which
was
case-
talking to Paul, he said he had just gotten an email from them. They had
Well, in
picked
which
up.
case, then that.
It was a
you know,
busy weekend of eating.
Yeah.
Why
'cause
not take
when
some space
I've been up there
It was fun,
twice
right,
to
weekend.
put stuff in those containers, and I noticed what you just said. And I said, wow, I wonder if they picked up on Friday, but that's good.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just haven't seen-
I hope so. Paul said, look, I know that a lot of people take that package and it goes right in the trash when they go home. He said they don't even bother to open it or read it. I mean, it explains everything about the transfer station, where everything goes and everything. But he said, I know that it's not read cover to cover. So he said, chances are they didn't bother reading the yellow sheet. I put it on a different color, hoping that would catch their eye,
Mhm.
you know.
This may be more of a social media thing that Jess can help with.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Yeah, if
Um,
you
Well,
want,
I
if you want
think-
to expand that, I would hit that part.
And to also include in there, use old milk cartons, use whatever you want to transport it up there. Don't like sit back because you didn't get a bucket.
I've seen plastic bags in those containers too.
There's a lot of the compost plastic bags in there.
As long as they're compostable. Yeah, I mean, that's what I
Or are you
use.
finding Ziplocs?
Well, I didn't
Oh.
examine, no. I haven't
They
seen
look
any.
like
Okay.
compostable ones. They don't look like grocery store bags.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But
And
do they compost? Isn't there?
Yeah, they're.
yes, there
industrial
are
compost,
some
which is what
that
it
do.
is.
As long as they're
Okay,
feed game
alright.
free and
They-
they've got.
yeah, they have to be
compostable,
certified.
Certified, yeah.
Yeah,
Because so Karen in our household switched us from Ziplocs to compostable Ziploc bags, not Ziploc,
Mhm.
but they're compostable. Really thin plastic that breaks very easily, but
mhm,
we don't really compost it, so.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah,
it was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Stop and Shop has started to use some compostable bags for the produce.
Produce, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed that
Trader
too.
Joe's does
Yeah.
that too. Theirs are all. compostable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Trader
Trader
Joe's.
Joe's?
Yeah, the one in Hanover anyways.
Oh.
All their produce bags, at least every time I've gone, I don't know.
You know, I didn't know that because I've been fairly critical of, because a lot of their stuff is not recyclable. And I've been trying, it is so difficult to buy things that aren't wrapped.
Oh, gosh.
I know,
Very
everything comes
difficult.
wrapped.
The worst is those plastic trays on the meat.
Yes.
So Stop and Shop by me switched to the clear plastic.
Plastic that can be recycled.
Which is great, because I recycle the heck out of those, because
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah,
a
they're
big thing.
decent.
Yeah, I mean, it's great stuff. It comes with a plastic wrap, obviously, which you have to throw out, but it's a lot less plastic and no styrofoam, so.
But if you rinse it, you can put plastic.
Oh, yeah,
recycled
I
too.
actually washed it off with soap.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but
yeah.
in the plastic wrap, I have a place that I put all those when I go to the grocery store to give them back.
You go further than I do.
Yeah, I mean, if you rinse it.
Yeah, yeah. No,
No, I'm a very wishful recycler. I'm a dangerous person. I had to pull back. Pull back.
So is
Dangerous
Karen in my house.
Yeah.
She's throwing stuff in there that's not recyclable. And we're just
Yeah.
raising our rates here. She goes, well, I'm hoping if I just throw it in there, they'll finally find a home for it. I'm like, that's not how it works.
I know, yes,
Not
I read that.
Yeah,
I
and
want everything
I
to be
think a lot,
repurposed.
there's a good number of people who really wish more of it was recyclable.
Well, and because the limitations are silly, black, because it's a black belt, you have to throw it away. Or those
Well, and
carton
the
lids, I
fact
buy my
that-
milk and glass, here's this lid.
Right.
Can't I just put them all into a similarly
I know.
whatever container so that the container and the contents are all that same plastic?
Material, yeah.
And I can recycle those and they don't
Right.
become those
Yeah.
things that pop through the
Right.
little holes.
The other part about the black plastic too is that it just can't be remanufactured. It's at the
It
end
can
of
only
it.
be manufactured to black. is the
To
key.
black, right.
Which we have enough black plastic that you can.
I
make
know,
more
you would
black
think.
plastic. You can
Yeah.
put black plastic on playgrounds, you can whatever, but
Yep,
the belt is the limitation right now.
yep.
I have like a dish strainer on top of my recycling commingle thing. So when I wash stuff, I put it on there and let it dry off.
Mm.
So, because if I just throw it in there, by the time the week comes around, it starts to smell pretty
Yeah,
rotten.
Right,
that's
right.
true.
So by having that dry, I think everything dries off and
That's a
Yeah.
smart idea.
no smell. And then I move that bag over to the trash.
Yeah.
After I dump it, I put it in, and that's my new
Yeah.
trash bag, so.
Pretty inventive. I like that.
Yeah, so Vanessa, I still have a couple of those white tubs that the guys gave us. I don't know where to go with those. I don't know how I get those to people who.
I've been talking to people and just saying, do you want one of these for that? And once you rinse them a couple times, one of them had a strong
Yeah, well,
chlorine
it's
smell because
cool.
it was cool chemicals.
Full chemicals, but they come in this nice white bucket.
And you
with a
just-
little handle.
The whole
Yeah.
lid comes right off as a screw. And so it's nicer than what we gave as the thing, because ours, you have to screw here and
Yeah.
everything gets stuck in the lip under
Yes.
there. These, the whole lid comes off, so you can do that, and you can put the power hose or, just
Yeah.
those with the sprayer on it.
So it's a chlorine.
Yeah, it was
Chlorine
terrible
tub you're
chemicals
putting
in
in
it for
food
people's
waste in?
tools. They-
Yeah, yeah.
And that was going into the food waste?
No, they were putting those into the hard plastic recycle and we took them out. Because they have a nice handle, they have
Yeah,
everything. So
they're-
now once you rinse it out, it's a fine thing to use.
I'd be worried about the chemicals that are left over and they're getting in the food and then going to your compost.
Really?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Mm.
I would search and make sure, but I'm pretty positive that
Because I think once they're in the,
chlorine, regardless if you wash it with Dawn and whatever else, I wouldn't
It's
want
still
that
gonna
anywhere near
permeate.
food waste, because then it's gonna get into the food supply, and now we're gonna be eating that stuff and tomatoes. That's if it goes to a compost.
Mhm.
Well, if it's just chlorine, that will dissipate. Like if you take chlorinated water, let it set out overnight. It's the
it
same
all
thing with
evaporates.
the
Which is
pool.
why people have to keep putting them in the pool. Because
yeah.
it's all evaporated out.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if some of them came with bags of the powder in them and it was just a
Yeah.
way to transport it. So
Mm.
I don't know, I don't have a pool, so I don't know anything about those chemicals, but these bins
like
are
chlorinated
great.
water.
Bees?
Bees will go to swimming pools.
Oh, yeah, no, they do. So do dragonflies.
Only because you can't get
I
out.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just putting them out.
Okay, so David, any expected completion date?
I'm,
on our
I'm told by my son
Mhm.
that will be next Wednesday and Thursday. and
Oh,
on
really?
Thursday.
Oh, great. Great, that would
Yeah,
be
he's
great.
been pretty busy and I hate to say it, but I physically can't do it anymore.
I understand, and it's been horrible weather. I would not want
Well, the
anybody out
weather,
there.
well, no, well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Extreme heat hasn't
Yeah.
helped. at all. I've gone down 3 times already out working in the yard
Um,
with AFib, and it's ain't good.
No, it's not.
You
And you know
know,
better than.
I
to be
was
out
talking to the neighbor, but this about it seems to happen on Fridays.
Friday.
But there's 3 Fridays in a row. And I was talking to the neighbor one of those Fridays, and I looked at her and I said, "Oh no!" And
Down you went.
Fortunately, the first time Michael was home,
How was he?
and I had my son, and I don't know. I usually carry the cell phone, but one of the times I didn't have it. I was crying out for help when I finally was able. I couldn't get up, and then I had a lightweight lawn chair that just weighs about 3 pounds. And I couldn't, I was trying to use that as a walker and I couldn't move. And finally, Michael came over and got me into the house and I have a monitor, I have a loop recorder in my chest. And I stayed I stayed away from the transmitter, I mean, the receiver, that I have a cell phone receiver that sends out. So I stayed away from it because I knew the phone would ring.
As it should.
They want to take me to the hospital. And the last time I did that, they made me stay overnight, which is a total waste of time.
Yeah,
It's stupid. It was really, I mean, it really
we
was. So
need to get you
anyways,
one of those alert things for.
yeah, well, anyway, it subsided and, you know, and I just sat and waited and it took, one time it took about 3.5 hours. I mean, everything calmed down, but, you know, my blood pressure went down and all that, but, anyway, I've got a new cardiologist because the last time I went to the cardiologist, it took me 2.75 hours to get to Cambridge. And so I said, so now I'm just going up to Milton, to BID Milton, which is it's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Even with traffic. So,
It's quicker than getting through Kingston these days.
Yeah, actually, the detour seems to be working really well, except it's now all on Elm and Brook, which is
Yeah.
where I travel, so it's like a lot of
well,
traffic.
hopefully they'll be finished soon, it seems to me.
I thought they said end of September.
Really, that
Yeah.
soon.
So that's gonna really screw up the buses.
Oh, that was a big issue, was the buses because of where they travel.
Right up by the school there, yeah. It's
Yeah.
been quite a, but you know what, before this even started,
Mhm.
it was impossible to get up past Cancun, impossible, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable. I don't know the town planner's gotta be looking at traffic patterns, just
Yeah.
gotta, because.
Yeah,
I don't know how you correct that. I mean, I did, first of all, the timing on the lights could be better. You know,
Well, I think one
Can't
thing
get stuck at those areas.
nobody ever crossed at Cancun until the motel got filled.
right,
And now they're crossing a lot, so those
Right.
lights change
right.
so many times for crossers, which hooray to walkers.
Mhm.
But it's still, the traffic, you can be sitting there. I forget, it took me 13 minutes from my house to get up to that light.
Oh my God.
13 minutes?
Yes, because I was trying to get to North Plymouth to an appointment.
Oh, during
And
the
I
construction?
had no idea, I mean, my timing, I think, oh, it's gonna take me 10 minutes to get down there. It took me 13 minutes from my house to get up to Cancun. My husband had to also go to the appointment and he was running a little late and I said, don't go this way. He went all the way down to Big Y, got on the highway,
Yeah.
got there
I'm
before
going
me.
that way when I go home.
Yeah.
You always have to go, and it's so
Yeah.
crazy. The other thing is if I need to get out like to Market Basket, I just go all 44,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
all the
Mhm.
way around. No, Route 80 is what I mean.
Yeah, Route
all
80.
around. But you
Yeah.
start thinking about how limited access there is in and out of
Yeah.
Kingston.
Well, I
Just
sat,
the next hurricane. Hmm.
yeah, I sat in on the planning board meeting last night and I had read about this before. They've engaged Old Colony Planning Council to do a study of 3A going through Kingston, so they're waiting for.
Well, and the other part is Waze tells everybody to go, I call it the parade in front of my house.
Hmm.
Must be something on the highway over there. Cause
Oh,
they're
yeah.
sitting here
Yeah.
at the lights, at
Yeah.
the train, at the, like, really, did you think it was gonna be better on the side street?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I mean,
if 3A if 3 is at a stop, they have no option other than to get off. at
They have
exit
an option, they'll still go faster.
I
They
know.
will through town, but they don't know it.
Yeah, okay, so, SSRC, we had a meeting last week. We had someone there from Recycle Works,
Yep.
which supposedly also does organic waste. And I did not go back through my notes, but I know I had contacted them when we were looking.
We talked to them and that was, if I remember correctly, it was before COVID.
Okay.
Was when we met with them up here and it was Dan Bonagario Jr.
Mhm.
Dan Bonagario obviously runs Capital Paper and then his son was in
Right.
charge of Recycling Works, whatever it is. And he sat right there, Paul and I were over here. And he started going through pricing because that was a big thing we want to talk about. And I'm sitting here calculating it out. It was like $150 a ton to get rid of it,
Yeah,
as opposed to 90, whatever it was for trash. So it just didn't make sense at that time. They came back. Okay, want me to talk about this?
no, go ahead.
So Joe Coletti, I used to work with.
Okay.
We used to work right down the street, actually where's the picture? Behind that house. It was on Green Street. Not that house,
A
the
big,
next building.
okay,
Right,
that's the old townhouse.
that's the townhouse. It was the one right behind it.
The
It
townhouse is,
was
Huh?
that building right
the old
there.
townhouse is
That's,
up
yeah,
there.
that's the old town hall, but it was the
Yes.
next building over on
Oh.
Green Street there. So I used to work with Joe Coletti in that building. And so I know him really well,
Okay.
a decade. Nice guy, really nice guy. Have a lot of respect for him. I know his dad too really well, but Joe is now in charge of the sales over there. And what we're kind of pushing him, I think the whole group was kind of pushing to figure out what the cost was, and he kind of kept straining the issue with him. Well, I can't really tell you because it's all based on, we have to work it out on an individual basis. And so I'm not sure where their pricing is. I'm imagining that it's still.
Didn't you
pretty
say they
close,
were
but-
charging $100 a week to pick up like 8 or 10 totes?
Yeah, but it wasn't very clear to me. I think I wrote that down. Like I had a lot of questions that we couldn't even get to because we're running out of time. But he did say it was $100 per pickup, but he didn't really. It wasn't too
Specify
explicit
how
on,
much.
was it one container? Was it one toter? Was it 4 toters? Was it 8 toters? He was very vague about that.
Yeah,
Um,
which makes it hard for a community to even engage with them if they have no idea how much it's gonna be.
yeah, I mean.
I
they
get
haven't
the
developed
impression
a
they
concept.
were more into institutions as opposed to a little podunk
They
transfer
were
station.
always into that. And the conversation we had with Dan Junior was, where we're really, he even said at the meeting, I believe, that they were focused in on, Stop and Shops, and
Big
like corporations
schools
and
and
schools. and bigger-
Hospitals, yeah.
Not really the towns. And they were, one of their first ones that they approached and got in to talk to was you guys.
Mhm.
And I pretty much remember that. And I'm not sure personally, I'm not sure they're set up to handle this type of situation where it's not really, you're not a major chain where they're gonna go
Right,
down the
right.
street. hit
And we
every
don't have the
shop.
volume. I think they're really looking for volume.
And that's where you get the pricing. You get the pricing in volume.
Right.
That's why your pricing is still probably not where it should be, but it will get there as soon as you get the volume. So, but yeah, I maybe it's worth a shot to talk to them, but I can't imagine it being too much less than what they
Right.
quoted before. I mean, I just didn't see the value savings because, you're pulling some of the material out of the trash, but right now it's not enough to see the difference. It's so small.
Right.
So. They did
Well-
say some nice things though. I mean, some of the things I did like was, that they do a lot of education in schools, which I think is fantastic. If they're gonna go in and they're gonna offer that service. If you're already paying to come in there, as long as it's not an extra charge, if they're gonna go and educate, students and stuff, I think that's great. It helps alleviate some of those jobs from the recycling committees and the parents, the PTOs and the green teams. But I don't know.
So,
Okay, well, you bring up a good point. Our contract ends October 30th. So, we're gonna have to decide pretty soon. If we're gonna go out and get more bids or if we're just gonna roll over the contract. The contract is written that we can just roll it over for another year and then another year. But we should also be prudent and maybe I'll contact him and see if there's any interest in doing a small pickup here. I kind of got the impression they were working not particularly in this area. A little bit north of
I'm
here.
not sure it's that they're not working in this area. I just think they're very spread out. He was
Mhm.
talking about Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island. They're kind of all over the place. It wasn't really, they didn't have a set location that they were focused in on. I think that's because their business setup was set up to go after the kind of the bigger fish, which would be the Stop and Shops. They're gonna have, 10 containers as opposed to 2 for Kingston.
Right.
So I think that's the way they like to do it. They do have some nice looking trucks, but it's not like nobody else has them. I mean, I'm pretty sure well, I don't know. Do we know if Black Earth cleans out your toters after they tip them?
No, they just take the liners.
So they're all lined, but
They're lined, yeah.
Same type of deal.
Yeah.
So I had a question about that. Sometimes there's bottles on the ground next to it with oils. in
Oils,
it.
yeah.
Do they take those or do we have to ultimately throw those in the trash?
No, they're supposed to take those. If you look at the rules from them, they said if you have oils and things to put it in a container next to it.
Okay, because it seems like they stayed for a while and I wasn't sure
Mm.
if they were taking.
Well,
them or-
if you think they're not picking them up, I can contact Black Earth.
I just wondered if ultimately
Yeah, because there was a bottle of
DPW.
oil there the other day.
and it went,
I don't know. I haven't been back.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
good
there was
question.
one there yesterday.
Hmm?
There was a small one there yesterday too.
Yeah,
Right.
when did I go? I went Saturday morning, so it would still be there. Yeah.
So I don't do very well at getting photos off my phone, but in May, I guess, I went down to one of the Falmouth Public Schools for a step up for my grandson. And they had, and it was in their cafeteria, and they had posters all along the wall because they do the organic waste recycling. And I took pictures of each one of them, and I wanted to share them, and I gotta figure out how to get them off my phone without sending everybody one picture, or putting them somewhere where you can go and look at them and whatever.
What kind
But I
of
will-
phone do you have?
I have an Apple. But I mean, to
Okay.
get 10 photos off,
Yeah, I can
Um,
show you.
it goes, I mean, I know how to, yeah, anyways, so
Okay.
send it to everyone, 10, whatever, but they were neat, so like they have one that says, take the sticker off the fruit. And they have one that says, put whatever. It just was really well done for their whole recycling thing, but it also included the kitchen based stuff. And Black Earth does it. Because I asked the principal about how that was working, and she said, it's really great. The kids really get into it, which is, again, I feel like if you have the students doing it, like I'm thinking when they go to pick up at Stop and Shop, do they peel all the stickers off the fruit before they give it to them?
No, 'cause
Right.
those are going to an anaerobic digester, and they can just.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just would like to share those. I would love to,
Okay,
before school gets going or right at the beginning of it, try to
Mhm.
get those green team leaders together like we had
okay,
with
Well,
Joe here. But not that we can jump into it right away, but just to get them
Right.
thinking about, because again, it's a budget item. If we're gonna have Black Earth go and pick up our
Mhm.
schools, it's gonna be substantial. But it's a great education tool. And that's
It
what
is.
They said, is it was so exciting to see how much the kids took to it. And, they don't know how much it's spilling over at home, and Falmouth is single stream, which
But
makes
still,
things really hard.
You're planting a seed in a young mind, and I think that's where we could be more effective if we could get kids more involved in recycling.
Well, they bring it to the parents.
Well, that's it. They
They
take
do,
it, they take
but
it,
they
they take it
also-
home.
But they
they're
also
aware of it
remember
and
it,
Mental memory,
as
yeah.
they mature and they go, oh, yeah, I remember
So
we
It's a
recycled.
way of life.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we
Like
do.
all of us can say, remember the swill bucket? You came, you're too young, but we all had swill buckets in the backyard, and the big man came and picked them up every week.
Mhm.
And
Until
Grandma
people
had
started
one in the
getting
ground
poisoned.
and step on it.
That's what, well, no, I mean,
But
that's,
the other thing that I think feeds into this, from my point of view, is when things are free, they're not as valuable.
Right.
And so free lunch, I could take one of everything.
Yep.
So now there's even more food waste than
Mhm.
if it was a penny for this and a penny for this and a penny for this.
But a lot of schools have
Pre-bagged.
a place where
Sure.
when you go to clean off your tray, if there's food that hasn't been eaten and it can be eaten by someone else, it goes in a special place. And so kids can come up, if they're hungry and need something more to eat, they can grab whatever's there. So some schools have instituted that.
Right, and so it's divided, is Kingston doing that? And
I don't
how
know.
long does it sit that apple in the bin before it
Yeah,
then gets thrown in the trash, or?
Probably a
whatever the deal
day,
is, But,
yeah.
how do we start to, without making a giant burden? So
Right.
when we say this is what we have for money in the budget, I'd like to think that we could get the school people and then say, what is it that, we can really help you
Right.
with? The other thing that was interesting about Falmouth is every one of the signs was made by the kids. There was
okay,
no commercial signs up there at all.
okay,
Kids did them, and if they needed to update
Right.
them or whatever. So it doesn't have to be a big budget, and I don't know if it was in the school budget to have Black Earth come and pick the bins up, or how all of that worked. But obviously, it wasn't a hindrance for them to have this on the loading dock, whereas
Mhm.
it feels like for us, any extra
Yeah.
bins or space
It's
is
an
becoming a
issue.
burden, right?
Yeah,
And we don't want to put a burden on there. We want to figure
Right.
out how does this become complementary and all of that to what you're doing.
I agree.
And so, I wanted to bring that to the table, and it was, I don't know if I have contact for Joe or for the other people, but if you could send that out and we could start to get a dialogue going for them, thinking about if we can meet what they would be looking for, and what us thinking about what we might be able to offer or provide at a convenient time for them, because school's gonna start pretty soon, probably.
It is. And
Time is limited for them.
And along those lines, you recall, we had, Paul and I worked, and we all did, we all worked with Hingham to do that video on organic. And it came out really nice. I sent that to all of you. I thought it came out really nice. So the same woman who arranged that contacted me and said, do you remember Rick Swanson? and I've already told a couple of you this, Rick Swanson went to Silver Lake, and he was one of the sports coaches there. Then he went to Hingham. He was a teacher. Then he became the principal, and he is now coming back to Silver Lake as the athletic director. While he was here, he started some recycling activities. When he went to Hingham, he did far more, and we actually Jean arranged for him to come down and do a presentation. We invited all the teachers. We had it over at the middle or at the
Intermediate,
it-
middle school.
intermediate school. Yeah. So he had a great program going on at Hingham. So she said, he's coming back. I'm going to put you in touch with him. So he and I did email, and he said, I look forward to reconnecting. Gave me his new email. I officially started Silver Lake on August 1st. I'm going to miss lots of people in Hingham, but I'm excited about the homecoming. So once he gets settled in, I think he could be definitely a go-to guy. You've worked with him before, right?
He's awesome.
Yeah. And he's really into the recycling, and he had the kids growing stuff in the greenhouses. He had all the sports teams competing with each other as to who could recycle the most. So, yeah, I think he will be a big helper at Silver Lake and throughout the school system.
When is the agricultural fair?
Bringing that up, it is September 29th, and I'm certainly hoping that we can have an information table there.
I hope I'm around. I want to do that. I hope I'm around. I want to do that.
Okay. We hope to have far more vendors this year than we had last year.
Because
I've gotten
I didn't
some
want you to jump
responses.
around in the
No, that's
agenda.
all
I
right.
hate when people do that because it screws up my minutes. I just thought it got as a segue because when you say growing things in the greenhouse,
Mhm.
it was nice to have the Aggie, the horticultural program come.
Mhm.
And that's another, just when we're talking about Rick and we're talking about green teams and we're talking about, I mean, again, I know they sell plants in the spring, which is really great. They also take plants. So when I order my firewood, I say, do you want to take all these plants back to your greenhouse that I don't want to bring in the house again because they did so well over the summer. I don't have any place to put them in the house.
Okay.
And so you talk about, where the yard waste is at the dump, you want to salvage mums and things out of there. But if they're willing to take plants over to I just feel like I came to Kingston because I was so excited it was such a little town that we could be really connected.
But we're
And then
not.
we're not. It's those fiefdoms that are just ridiculous.
Well,
But if we can start to bridge those
I know.
again.
part
it
of
would
the
be
issue,
really
of
nice.
course, with Silver Lake is that it's a regional school. It's not just
Even if
Kingston.
it goes beyond,
I know, it's other stuff
it's,
too.
it's other stuff too.
But yes, last year we had, the junior class did their cow flop, and they're going to do that again this year. We also had, kids from the horticultural program, at a table. And I've sent them the invitation. I just need to follow up with Elliot. I'm sure he'll get the kids there again. So yeah, I've sent out about 50 some invitations, heard from maybe.
For people to have tables,
Yeah.
invitations to, yeah, sure.
Mhm.
There's a lot,
When is everything? The agricultural fair?
29.
The September 29th, it's a Sunday.
Is
1
the
to
library doing an event that day too?
I haven't heard back from the library. I did send them an invitation. Probably next week I'll be sending out a follow-up because they do have a deadline in early September to respond. But I've gotten a good number of responses. The woman who did the braided rug is going to donate another braided rug this year to us. We have a couple more food vendors coming.
Are we overflowing from the green? It still all fits on the green?
Out here on the front lawn and on the
Oh, it's
side.
here, okay.
It's here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's here.
Well, I thought because the memorial.
No, I went before the Board of Selectmen and I got permission to do it here. I
Well,
had
we're gonna
to,
step on all the new grass.
I had to guarantee, well, let me give you the whole story. I had to guarantee that the cows would not plop on the new.
That's a good part.
And then when I talked with Carrie Mathias, who's the advisor for the class, she said, well, I got permission last year. I said, oh no, it's a whole new ballgame. You have to go in front of the selectmen, get permission, guarantee that the cows will not plop on the new memorial. So, as you know, they put down turf. And turf requires constant watering. And Crystal Pools, Joe Casna,
So that, well,
provided
So is that why the? truck's out there?
most of the work out front, a lot of the material, and he is now supplying all the water.
where does he get his water? I see that truck out all the time.
I don't know. I don't ask. But he's supplying all the water. And I said, so Joe, here's my concern. When can we go on there? He said, by the end of August, it should be well established, as long as they water it. So that gives us another month after that.
Can we have the front doors open for people to go to the bathroom?
No, we can have back doors open for people.
We build buildings and we never can use the front door.
I don't know.
So weird.
I don't know. But yes, we had the back doors open last year, so people could use the restrooms. So we're gonna put all the animals over on the side here where it's somewhat shaded. Although towards the end of September, who knows? It could be coolish. Last year, we ended abruptly because we had a huge storm come through. I was drenched till we got everything cleaned up. But we had a good turnout. We had a lot more people come, and David was there manning our recycling table. I don't know how much activity you had, David.
There wasn't a lot.
Wasn't a lot, but you had
Wasn't
a
lot, but
couple
there was-
interested
yeah,
people
oh, yeah,
stop by.
Yeah, it was a positive, but it was.
Yeah.
but,
I mean, I just think it's really important, where I think we're closely aligned with agricultural interests, that we have a presence there. So I was hoping we could have another table this year. I'll provide the table and we have our nice cover for it. And I brought all the brochures and
Yeah,
everything
you put a
last
whole
year.
nice notebook together.
Yep. So I hope, if all of us can help, I'll be running around on behalf of the because I'm putting the
Mhm.
fair together, but if the three of you could help man the table, I don't think David should have to be there alone the whole time.
Did you try recruiting anybody last year? For the committee? Might be a thought for this year. 'Cause
Yeah.
Their thought patterns are similar to ours.
Okay.
Of course, you always get the people who volunteer for everything to ask them, can you volunteer for more?
I know. Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
might find one.
Okay. So, anything else with South Shore Recycling? They are continuing to work on the hazardous household waste depot. That's moving along. Todd's intimately involved with that. Is there anything you want us to know right now?
MAPC is working on the RFP to find the engineering firm. So we should have that hopefully this week, according to Amy over there at MAPC. That should go out in the next week or two. We should have
Okay.
an engineering firm hopefully in 4 to 6 weeks after that. Things really start moving forward after that, but we're kind of in that lull right now.
Okay.
It's called August.
I know.
Well, and it's just, there's so much leading up to when you can actually start doing things. So,
We need the engineering firm.
Yeah.
It's a big piece of it.
So he just answered me that rail facility, it's in Air/Littleton. That's the one he was going to.
Yeah, Camp Fort Devens.
That's Devens.
Is it?
Yeah. that's
Okay.
Devens.
okay. Anything else on SSRC? I mean, there are going to be a couple of hazardous household waste collections this fall, but I don't think any of them are right here. But you can always go to one. That was one of the things Paul and I talked about the other day was, right now, people need to go to the highway barn and get a permission slip if they're gonna, attend one not in our community. And, Claire had said something out about just making it, anybody can go, and then they would, build a town afterwards. And I think that's the way Paul's gonna go with it.
It's just one way to do it. It's easier. on the family.
It'll be easier for him and his staff, yeah, to go that way. And we're hoping maybe more people will participate. Anytime you have to go and get something signed,
Pre-planning and.
yeah, it doesn't always, it discourages some people, even though, I mean, it's minimal, but it does discourage people. So maybe we'll get a little bit more, but apparently there's still a lot of hazardous household waste banging around here.
It's everywhere.
Yeah,
They're selling it at all the big box stores.
yep,
Every
they
single way
are.
to label in a store. This is all hazardous. These styrofoam plates are non-recyclable.
I know, they're crap, yeah.
Well, it's interesting about hazardous waste, like the materials we get, the chlorine, the bleaches, insect, killer, stuff like that, the stuff we get doesn't have to really comply with federal EPA standards. So the stuff that we get doesn't fall under the EPA at all. It's basically exempt. And so we've got ticking time bombs sitting in our bathrooms, with the bleach next to the
Ammonia.
cleaner. And nobody knows about it, but when it comes to industrial and commercial and municipal stuff, you've got to make sure you label it.
Yeah,
It's all
you gotta
separated,
label it.
but in the house, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't exist.
yeah, what a
So-
shame. And Claire did tell us that all of the bills regarding excess packaging and paint and all of that, none of it passed this year. And I know she spent a lot of
It's so much
time,
work.
a lot of time on all of those, but
Yet every other state passed something good.
yeah, I don't know what it is about our Massachusetts legislators. They just,
I don't get it.
yeah, you think we're one of the more forward thinking
We're not.
states, but we're not. We're followers. We wait till everybody else has done
Maine's better
something.
at it than we are.
Yeah,
Everyone, Ohio's better at it, which is scary because they
Yeah.
just passed an EPR law.
yeah.
And then they buy our trash.
So-
I know. I mean, come on.
So.
It doesn't have any of that
Crazy.
stuff
I just
in
read
it.
I just read an article yesterday.
Yeah.
Ohio just passed an EPR regulation. Ohio, it's like they weren't even on the radar. Over us.
Yeah, so it's very
Uh,
frustrating
yeah.
for everyone, but particularly for Claire, because she puts a lot of time and effort
I feel
into
bad for that whole group.
it. Yeah, so,
Juanita Treyberg, she puts a lot into.
Yeah. yeah, I know. It's just, it's a shame. All right, so we do have a special town meeting coming up in October, November. And the window to submit a warrant article opens in early September. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have anything we wanted to submit for the special town meeting.
Well, I'm just looking at our next item on the list here, the bylaw update. Does that have to go through that?
Yes, it would.
Are we working on that or are we tabling that for now? or-
Well, Todd and I need to find time to talk about that.
Yep.
I would like to update it to require all residents to recycle. As it is right now, it only applies to people who use the transfer station.
No, we did the all generators. We passed that. didn't we? But that's what we sat here and,
Are you talking about the
Which-
private haulers?
yeah,
There's no mandate for the public to recycle.
I could have sworn we did all generators. That's why we're here at that meeting. That's the gentleman from the old war vet that got in the argument with us.
That's just the private hauler regulations.
Yeah, but we passed comprehensive regulations. didn't we?
It doesn't say that the public has to recycle.
Yeah, but all generators covers the public. It's just that those two words, all.
All right.
generators.
So maybe that needs to be,
Let's look into it, because I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it says all generators. I'm like 99% sure.
okay. But that's not what our recycling bylaw says.
Oh, the recycling bylaw is separate from the hauler
From the
regulations.
hauler regulation, yeah.
But the hauler regulations wouldn't supersede that anyway. So
I
we gotta
don't
change, we gotta
think
change
so.
the bylaw.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
like moving a mountain. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. I
okay,
like a challenge.
okay, so that's the only thing I have on that. The private hauler regulations, Todd and I met with the health agent and Todd helped her see that it's not a huge burden, that you can just incorporate it in her regular duties. So I thought she took that well.
So I did too.
She
yeah.
seemed to be on board with, okay, so when I'm out doing my regular job, if I see, I can just make sure that this is being complied with. And I know I still go by residences and there's one bin out. And I don't know if that company does 2 separate pickups. Or they're not requiring their,
I know in some town, at least I know from Falmouth, because my family lives down there, recycling is only every other week. So 1 week you have 2 bins, the next week you only have 1 bin.
And that could be.
trash.
Could be.
that
And
could
so when you
be,
see
Haulers.
just one, it may
Right.
be that it's on an alternate for
Right.
recycled materials.
yeah, and I did bring up, excuse me, my allergies are really carrying on today. I'm still the secretary for South Shore Recycling, so we had an e-board meeting last Tuesday before the regular meeting. And I again brought up the fact that I really would like to see South Shore Recycling coordinate hauler regulations for the member communities, but apparently there's just a handful of us that actually have private haulers that are not hired by the town.
Private.
So we have to figure out which towns and then go from there. But where the state is mandating that we regulate them and that we monitor them, and we could get an RDP point
Sure.
if we did 2 points, if we
Yeah.
did that on a consistent basis. It's going to be one of those situations where you have to weigh the cost versus the benefit. And it's a shame to have a private hauler regulation that's not being enforced.
I did have a conversation with Kathy a few weeks back in our one-on-one that we have every 3-4 months or so. And I brought up the fact that I would like to see some sort of enforcement education coordinator position back in the grants at some point here in the near future, but make it a regional enforcement coordinator, not just where it's one municipality, because I think that's where it starts to get expensive. It's just at one.
Oh, yeah.
You get a bigger bang for your buck if it's SSRC filing for it,
Mhm.
and you got 18 towns,
Right.
you can just go to each town every couple of weeks and just.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we need somebody here constantly.
It's
No, it has to be random checking.
That's right.
Every couple of weeks or months, they circle back around, they double check.
Right.
Yeah, so Kathy really liked the idea a lot. So I need to kind of, I need to come up with some sort of an idea and put it out on paper and get it over to her. So hopefully, I don't think it's gonna make fiscal year 25, but maybe fiscal year 26.
Okay,
Unless we can push the powers that be, but they're kind of cutting the budget a little bit, so.
sure.
So Claire and Janine and I sat down and wrote that grant to submit for Julie. And so maybe you can get the language from Claire and then you could
Yeah.
just tweak it.
Well, we've already, yeah,
whatever.
I've already got all that too. That was the waste WREC with rec grant. And then there was the RICO, the Recycling Education Enforcement Coordinator one. But this is gonna be something different. That was more of an individual. I know Claire used it as a regional effort, but it wasn't necessarily meant for that.
Mhm.
So I want to make it a regional
Okay.
person, so that way we can have specific, enforcement officers or coordinators in different areas of the state that are covering multiple municipalities.
Mhm.
I think that's where the best bang for the buck is gonna
I
be.
agree.
So, and like I said, Kathy loved it, so
Okay,
it's just. now
so
I've
it
gotta
could just
formulate
be
it.
a financial issue.
Could be a budget constraint, but I
Mhm.
think if I'm able to pose the argument well enough and then Kathy can bring it up the ladder, I think she said it, she liked it, and that's
Well,
a
I
big
think,
part of it.
I
So,
think it's difficult for them to say, oh, if you're doing it, we'll give you some, some RDP money, but if they really want us to do it,
they should help fund it.
yeah,
That's a different thing. That's what I'm
or
going for.
provide some support so that we
I'm-
could
yeah,
actually
I'm
do it.
going for full funding person in the
Okay.
regional effort. So
Okay.
once again, Claire's group, you've got a couple waste groups in,
Mhm.
you've got two kind of like Claire's and things in Western Mass, a couple in or Central Mass. There's 3 or 4 in Western Mass,
Mhm.
Janamine being one of them. But they're kind of spread out. But beyond that, I'd like to see the municipalities. This is something that's a big push, not only for me, but DP, is to regionalize on a lot of different things. And I think this enforcement person is a great start to regionalize.
I
that.
agree.
So,
Okay,
maybe-
great.
yeah, maybe we run them out of, what are they, like what are they, the regional planning boards,
Okay,
or from regional planning committees.
like
whatever
Old
they are.
Colony Planning or?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, basically they'd be housed out of like one of those facilities, but they would have a
Mhm.
district of, kind of similar to mine, where they'd have these municipalities and those,
Right.
they would go to each one that needed the help.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the ones, if the ones didn't want the help, then that's fine, but the ones that really are looking for some
Right.
sort of support and help in enforcing these regulations, because I think that's kind of a missing key. Maybe if you get the grant money, then it has to go to fund that
Yeah.
person, so.
Yeah, because the bottom line is if it's a Board of Health regulation,
Yeah.
then you're relying on the municipality to provide the staffing. And we're going in the opposite direction. We're downsizing.
That's the
We're
issue.
not, so whoever is in the position is already being asked to do more.
That's how I posed to Kathy, that's why she liked it.
Yeah.
So.
So one thing that I don't understand, so it would only be for towns who have private haulers. They wouldn't oversee towns that provide hauling themselves?
No, it'd be towns, municipalities that have comprehensive hauler regulations in place. So.
So
using
like
the
Falmouth,
DEP
Halifax that we just went and looked at, went away from their sort of transfer station to,
They never had a
curbside.
transfer station. They had pay as you throw in bags at the curb, pure pay as you throw
Oh.
program. They have a recycling center,
right,
which is
right.
completely separate from the transfer
But so
station.
then they
Right.
moved away from pay as you throw, so now everything's getting thrown into trucks.
64-gallon toters.
But
for
nobody
pay-as-you-throw
would ever
branches.
check those because it's all under the town of Halifax. Or they would. Like,
If-
when you say private, I assume
They,
because we don't,
Halifax has comprehensive hauler regulations on the books.
that they do monitoring on.
They used to,
Oh.
and they still, they will follow up with haulers. So we're having the same thing in Plymouth. We're going through their regulations as well.
But so this monitoring stuff would apply to that or not? I mean, there'd be towns that are excluded from it because they do it a different way?
It would be the town's choice. If they don't want the help, then they could opt out. Or if they don't have comprehensive hauler regulations on the books, which you guys have, Halifax has, Plymouth has somewhat of those, not comprehensive, but they've got private hauler regulations, which are just covers the residential. We need regulation that covers all generators, which is everything in town, regardless of your resident
Okay,
business.
so this, what we're asking for, really,
Yeah.
everybody could benefit from. It's not
Yes.
like just, okay, that's
This
what I
is
wanted to
everybody.
clarify.
Yeah.
It will go further if it's everybody.
I want someone that specializes in not just looking at, this house and that house and making sure they have, recycling
No,
bins,
yeah,
but
higher
also,
level of it all.
also, the Stop and Shop, are they doing the food waste? Are they doing, all the stuff that they should be doing? That's to comply with those comprehensive hauler regulations that are in towns. It's a real specialist position. I would actually enjoy it. You do with bus people. Can't carry a gun, but.
All right, well, good. That sounds really,
Yeah,
really
it's-
good.
Like I said, I'm still figuring out how the pieces of the puzzle work together. So I need to figure out what all the responsibilities are, and
Mhm.
package up, and I gotta send it to Kathy and let her take it up the food chain. But it's not gonna happen next year, I'll tell you that much. If it does, it'll be 2, maybe 3 years out. So.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a start for something that could be really beneficial for the towns.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe less will go on the train.
that's the
Maybe they'll only take the recycled material, it will be very clean.
All right, next item, shirts, Jean.
So, I checked out the place and she gave me prices for like polo shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was 100% recycled. And the other one was cotton. I don't really like the feeling of plastic on my skin, but,
Well,
So-
recycled doesn't have to be plastic.
Yeah, it could be textiles, could be
I
cotton.
mean, it can be cotton. What do you mean by plastic on your skin?
Synthetics.
Synthetics, is
I'm-
that what you were
I'm-
thinking?
I'm on
was synthetics?
polyester
I'm
or
on-
something.
Right, but
But-
recycled doesn't imply that it's plastic.
What did she say? What's
What do
in
you
it?
recycle
What's-
cotton?
Yeah, I think you need to figure out. what-
Recycled polyester.
There you go.
And-
You didn't say that word before, so fine.
Okay. All right, so the
Okay.
other one is cotton. Okay, and what are we looking at for pricing?
They would only sell 12 shirts at a time.
Okay,
And so they'd be about $20 each.
okay,
And for double X large would be an additional $2. So same price. So I don't know which way you want to go, the recycling route, because that's kind of in our
well,
bailiwick, and that I feel more comfortable.
with the cotton, okay, all right, and what are our color choices?
There's the little color blocks there.
I have kind of a crazy thought on this.
Go ahead.
You guys have Bay-State Textile right here, and they're looking at opening up a division of selling some of the stuff that they take in.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you talk to them and see if you can get some shirts from them?
Recycled, I mean.
A
oh,
lot of
just get
stuff's brand
blank-
new, even its tags on. I'm just a thought. I mean. if
Yeah,
you
but
look at it
what I
in
was
recycling
looking
read,
for is something that looks almost like a uniform. So that
Sure, they
when,
get plenty of those.
so when we go to the transfer station,
Yeah.
you know, or at the fair or wherever, you know, it says Kingston Recycling
Yeah, but you
Committee.
can get the shirts and have, there's embroidery place right there.
There is.
Just a thought. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just spitballing here. I'm
Okay,
just kind of reuse, that's what it would be.
what did they say about men's versus women's?
Like,
What do you mean?
want shirts like this? go.
What do I mean? Women's shirts are shaped a little differently than men's shirts.
Okay.
What did they say?
Yeah, that's right.
Are these ones that both could wear, or are they more geared for men? Because then they don't always fit so well, or we need to get a bigger size.
Well, when I presented, I said, well, the committee feels that T-shirts don't look good on women, and, we're looking for something with a collar and looks a little more official. So that was the way I presented it.
Okay,
But she didn't come back and say anything. From what I saw in the racks, they did
Mhm.
have things that looked like, I don't know about that kind of stuff. It's not
okay.
my thing. I have the same.
You
clothes
have a
as
wife
in
and
high
a
school.
daughter, come on.
I was pushing my daughter in the carriage and she's like, I like that dress. I'm like, oh, honey, I don't know what size, 2T. She knew that,
She
and like in diapers.
Okay, all right. So this is 5.9 ounce, 100% combed ring spun cotton, stain release finish, rib knit collar and cuffs, 3-button placket with dyed to match buttons, care instructions, machine, I think they mean wash, it says was cold with light colors, non-chlorine bleach when needed, tumble dry low, do not add softener, cool iron if needed. The colors are charcoal, deep navy, jet black, red, royal, and white. No green.
Gotta get a plastic green. The plastic, I don't know, you don't wear any wicking
This one's
clothes?
green.
Yeah, but that's the other one. That's not this
It's
one.
wicking stuff.
Do you see a green on there? I mean, they have a forest green, which is okay. So on the recycled polyester and color locking posi change technology, I wonder what that is, makes this snag resistant, odor fighting, moisture wicking polo outcompete other polos. 3.8 ounces, 100% recycled polyester with posi change technology. UPF rating of 30, tear away removable label, self fabric collar, tape neck, 3-button placket dyed to match buttons. This one is also machine wash gold with light colors, no fabric softener, tumble dry, cool iron if necessary. And you've got a few more colors to choose from here, but I don't particularly care for their forest green either. You guys want to take a look?
We had it done here for a while.
Okay. All right, so if we want to go cotton, my first choice would be the blue.
And why are we picking this company?
They're right here in Kingston,
Oh,
the one right there at the tracks,
okay.
okay? I like to keep it local if we can. We don't have to, but I know Jean's gone down there and gotten some information for us. Any thoughts?
What are we gonna do with 12 of them?
Well,
2 weeks.
There you go.
yeah,
I'm fine with one.
yeah, but I mean,
$40 in shirts that they
You know,
recycle.
I'll store them for future members. I mean, if you
Maybe
leave,
that-
somebody else comes in, they're not gonna want your shirt, they're gonna want a new shirt, so. I have no problem with 12 shirts at $20 each. I mean, I think we can swing it. If we can't use RDP, we always have CMAS.
What? How would you label them? You know, in terms of the,
I would just have Kingston Recycling Committee.
just there, you wouldn't have anything on the back?
I don't think so.
They said they do the big print on the back,
Yeah,
and I have this thing. It's like planet Earth with hands, and put something like on the back and put sustainability, and you break the word up like it arches over the top. So that's what I did before for the.
Well, I have
for the
two,
school.
I have two of the old, you know,
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
two of the old T-shirts and I
Right.
wear, you know. And it's interesting because, you know, I don't wear them, but I've been up there, you know, and no one has ever said anything,
and
you know, and I just wonder. However, you know, I've only had one negative with someone, we didn't get into an argument, but I made the man angry. And because I think because I embarrassed him, I didn't mean to embarrass him. And I had the shirt on and I'm thinking, you know, it would, maybe I didn't, I can't remember, actually, I don't remember that. And maybe it would be better if there were, you know, I was identified as somebody who belonged to.
well, that's why
something.
I really wanted
Yeah.
us to get some shirts, because I
But-
would
but-
like
but
to
I
be,
think- But a little thing up here isn't gonna.
you think
tell-
that's not enough?
It's not enough. It
Yeah,
should
you're gonna be like, look,
It should say something on the front. What Jean is saying is more effective.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
Jean,
but then you have to face somebody back, see?
yeah.
I come in peace.
Yeah. I just want something to identify us so that when you are there, because I would like to spend some time there and, you know, help educate, not embarrass, but educate. And I don't think we'd get the kind of possible negative response. They can see we're actually, you know, we're there with purpose, you know, part of the recycling committee.
I know that you have dignity and stuff like that, but I still think a penny or something that we just put over what we're wearing. You know, keep it in the car, but that it identifies, it's out, you know, I don't care
Just
how
sort of
loud or
like-
big or whatever it is, because I'm not gonna wear it anywhere except when I'm trying to help out in recycling.
Mhm.
But I just feel like, you know, if it's winter, I'm gonna put it over my jacket. If
Okay,
it's summer, I'm gonna put it over my t-shirt. But I'm gonna put this on and for most of the year, I'm gonna have a sweatshirt over it. Nobody's gonna see it
Mm,
unless I put it over a sweatshirt.
mm, Okay.
And so, I mean, it's very attractive, but to me, it isn't, you know, without it really screaming, I'm here in peace to educate. Anyways, that's just my thought on it, but I don't know that you would ever go out in pennies, so.
The other-
Too ladylike.
Have you seen some that you?
No, I'm just, but my first thought was like an apron, you know.
You
that
know,
would be
like
the
the
front.
yellow things that the road workers use,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
that-
yeah, it doesn't have to be that kind of, I mean,
Well,
I
you
think.
might, I'm not sure, you might want to check, but you might have to comply with the safety laws. If you're in a place that's high volume of traffic and you might have to have a certain amount of high
No, we're just
vis.
gonna be by the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. If you're anywhere near that place, you're still gonna probably need some high vis stuff.
Really?
Yeah, you might. It just dawned on me that
Yeah, but we're
anytime-
behind where all those poles are that they can't
doesn't
crash
stop
on.
anybody. Doesn't matter. If you have to step out, someone falls through. Now you're not wearing high vis, that's an intent.
Yeah,
So I would check with, I don't know,
Okay.
someone here, just see if you see that you don't need high vis. I
Okay.
would check with that first.
but I'm just thinking about high school pennies where, you just threw them over your head. They got a front and back, you do a little tie here, a little tie here.
That's a thought. Yeah.
I have no idea how expensive something like that would be after you put the decals on it and stuff like that, but those I feel like, I'm gonna keep that in the car. I'm not gonna change it into a shirt because I happen to be at the
Yeah.
transfer station and see a need.
Jean, did you notice, did they have anything like that there?
They did have a lot of things that were kind of in that vein, so I wasn't looking for that, so I didn't
Mhm.
notice it, but
Okay.
I'm sure they probably do. If not, maybe the Army Navy store. Right down
Would
the
you be
street.
willing to go back and ask about that?
Are you willing to go in that direction? I mean.
Sure. I mean, I see the versatility that you're talking about versus, having a shirt.
So you got pockets, you can put flyers in there and all kinds, you can put goodies in there.
I'm thinking, you don't even need a pocket. I mean, I
Mints for
just,
people with bad breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just something that
Have a mint.
clearly identifies.
yeah,
us.
that has a front and back. And then if it's over the top labeled as, recycling committee, here to help, whatever we want to put on there,
Right.
then we've already announced that I'm gonna talk to you about it, but I'm not a critical neighbor going, yeah, you do everything wrong.
Question mark on the back of it. Ask me questions.
I always open with, I volunteer my time, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. But if you notice, every town used to have a landfill, but now it's getting very expensive to get rid of trash. So we're doing an educational thing and put it like that, and that usually disarms people right off the bat.
Mhm.
So-
Okay, well, thank you so much for getting this information. Let's see what they might have as far as pennies. And then we'll go from there. I mean, just the longer we get into the winter, the less we're gonna want to be out there anyway.
For sure.
How do you spell that?
How do you spell penny? Pinney or just Y?
I'll
They say-
look
Pennies
it
with a
up.
Y
I just,
somewhere on there.
Where's
How
the
do you spell
librarian?
penny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I look things up, I don't know how to spell it.
No, she's giving me penny. Obviously, I can't. I can't.
That's your Pennsylvania accent.
It's-
I have the penny piece.
Pennsylvania accent.
That's so good. I look things up. I don't need to know how to spell them.
That's why I became a librarian. I don't have an encyclopedia brain, so I need to know where to go to get it. Of course, now I have a different skill because Google and everybody gives me all the wrong stuff, like here, penny, oh, just write Penny. That's what the computer told me.
PSY,
Why?
a set of uniform colors, usually sleeveless
Okay,
shirt.
so
worn as a
PINNY,
temporary team
okay.
uniform.
All right, okay. Let's see what else we got here. So we already talked about the green teams a little bit. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? You were talking about recontacting. I would recommend maybe waiting till the first couple of weeks of school or where everything kind of settles down. First couple of weeks can be a little hectic.
It's gonna be really hectic. When are they starting? Like the 29th or something? I mean, we still have a couple of weeks here.
Yeah,
If we tried to,
I mean, you could
Or
try.
maybe
I don't know if
before.
you're gonna reach anyone.
yeah,
Because if they're back, they're prepping. They may still be on vacation, but I mean, you can go at your own pace, what you want to do. I'm just thinking,
well, but also if we talk to them now, if
yeah.
to think about, what,
Mhm.
so then they
Okay.
kind of go in with this, like, hopefully they have all the stuff you bought with the grants.
Yeah.
But if they don't,
Okay,
what is, like, where are things falling through because you don't have these things? I mean, those plastic recycle bins break. Kids are carrying them by the side and they're full of paper. And they break, they throw them away,
Okay.
so. but
I'll
they don't
send
have
you
a budget to
guys
replace them.
Rick's email
Okay,
with his email on
all
there.
right.
And you can certainly start with him. being the new athletic director, he's probably already in football practice.
So that's for just the high school, the middle school, the whole.
Why don't you
district?
see what he's willing to do? If he's
I mean, what is his, I don't. when you say
athletic
AD
director for Silver Lake.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's pretty inclusive.
Yeah, so see, you know,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's busy scheduling everything.
you know,
right
and you
now.
guys, you already had the name of the green team member, right, from the middle school?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Did we get it? I have to go back and look through my notes if I have that, or otherwise I'll get it with Eugene.
Okay, or if you just go on state of Massachusetts and Google Green Team, there's
Yeah, you
a,
get the members on the.
they have the members on there. Okay,
It's
all
very
right, let me see. Anything, let me see if there's anything else.
But they
Yeah,
have to pay dues to be part of that? No.
no,
Okay.
but they do get support and materials, I believe, from
Okay.
the state.
Yep.
They have curriculum that matches whatever the state criteria is.
I did send you an email about South Korea recycling 98% of its food waste.
Yeah, you did.
I couldn't
But it's
open it.
I
mandated.
couldn't open it either. But
Oh, you couldn't open it?
No,
It wanted us to either pay or download some
No.
app.
Oh, no. I will resend it. It's supposed to be readable. Okay. Resend. Because I subscribe to the Washington Post, and each month I get so many free shares to send articles.
This was mostly last year. Should be new this year.
Okay, let me see what else I've got here.
So is this what you're talking about?
Um,
Something like,
ask her.
Well, that's reversible because you can wear it inside out. I'm even thinking,
but that's the kind of thing you.
yeah, like the scrimmage vest.
Something
It's
even
just
smaller.
Big and bulky, like if I want to put it over, see the scrimmage vest? If you're gonna slip it over your down jacket while you're out there, it's not gonna like
Mhm.
bind you up. It just sort of hangs on you, like if it had the tie at the side.
Sides
like
or
the old
something, yeah.
fashioned,
Yeah.
then you can kind of tailor it, but the one we're looking at there is elastic waist, and then there's just kind of this ballooning thing that hangs on you. You know, you wouldn't wear it, so that you have to clarify it with her, because like I
She's like, I'm
said.
not wearing that. Oh my God, I look like a
Well, I mean, we're representing the town, so we want to look
Officially
presentable.
recycled.
Officially recycled.
Well, Wellesley, all their volunteers, they have, it looks like the kind of vest that they use on the highway.
Way, okay.
They're bright color and they say volunteer
Mhm.
swap shop.
Okay, so you.
Oh, yeah, that's where extra ones would go, is if people are and that's why if it's not a
Right,
shirt that you have
right.
all over your skin,
Right,
then while you're in there volunteering, then people know, oh, you're not just another
Very
shopper,
good.
you're organizing
Yep,
putting things up there.
yep, yep.
So, like I said, if it's a penny, then you just hang it on a hook in there,
Mhm.
and when you come in, you put it on, and it's not like somebody had to have washed it unless you spilled your coffee all
Yep.
over it or something.
Sounds good.
Sense?
All right, that's even better. 5 great moments.
Well, no, we haven't found it yet, though, and it has to be
Anyway.
approved by you, because you gotta wear it.
Well, I think as long as it's, it gets the message across, I think that's the important part.
You look good.
Presentable. Okay, Todd, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us? You have any big meetings coming up, or other than the
No.
one in September?
Mass Recycle, we're working on a couple of mark meetings. One's gonna be on lithium ion batteries.
Okay,
And then I think in November is when we're doing Recyclepalooza again.
okay,
So there'll be three to five, probably 3 statewide Zoom meetings on various topics. And then we just started talking about that in our meeting yesterday. Starting to plan for that now.
So October was Palooza?
No, that's gonna be
December,
for Recycles Week or whatever it is in November.
oh, November,
And what was the one before that? You said the,
Mass recycling.
oh, the Mercs.
Oh, the Mercs, that's, those are just we usually do those quarterly, but we haven't done one in a while. That'll be on probably batteries, either batteries.
Oh, yeah, that was the other.
I think we help-
There's like the ones you used to do in Carver at the.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I haven't done those
We
since
were, so
COVID.
Missy, my counterpart, no, well, we've done them all online.
Online, I'm sorry, yeah.
And we were doing, one like every other month, just because everybody's working from home, and it's like, we were
Mhm.
looking for stuff to do, so we just came up with Merc meetings every other month. Which got very time consuming just to find the speakers and set them up.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of work just to do that, but Missy and I have been talking about possibly bringing those back in person. Trying to,
Mhm.
on the other hand, everyone's gotten used to Zoom and.
Well,
for
it's
someone to
usually
drive
good
away-
attendance. Yeah,
It used to be, but I don't see us getting the attendance numbers again right now. Because
Yeah.
everyone I've talked to is like, well, we just don't have the time, we're understaffed, we're over budget.
Right.
It's just that nobody's got the time. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if we'll ever really go back to the success we had before with, 50, 60 people in the room.
Yeah.
Because they were getting big and then COVID hit.
No,
I'm not afraid of that
actually,
day.
I like Zoom. It saves me a lot of travel time.
You did all hear that all the Zoom employees have to report in person now?
All what?
Zoom employees have to report in
In
person
person
now?
now. I know they've been working on the federal employees for a while. When I worked there, the thought of working from home was like, what? You couldn't watch everything you're doing. How could- And now suddenly everybody's allowed to work from home and they found out they liked it.
Ann McGovern, you remember Ann McGovern?
I do.
She is doing, let me find the date on this. Where's her next Thursday? So next Thursday at 2:30 PM at Pembroke Library, she's gonna be doing a Joy of Composting.
Oh,
session
really?
In person, yeah, and got a meeting at 10, but I was thinking about coming up, because I haven't seen Ann in like 4 years. I mean, I've seen her online, but I haven't seen her in person, so I might come up there for that.
Where is she based? Is she in Marshfield North? Is she in the
She's
north
pretty-
or south?
she's been retired now since when did she retire, Gene? 2020? 2019? Right around then?
I don't know.
Is
but
she
Ann
part of the
McGovern-
north-south river?
No,
watershed?
well, I don't know what she's doing now because she's retired. So she was a DEP employee up in Boston. Actually, she was a contractor for like 18 of the 30 years, and then they finally made her an employee. And she retired after like, what was it, Gene, 35 years or something like that? at
A good
DEP. It was,
number.
like, long.
Yeah, very
she
good
outlasted
number.
Brooke by-
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy how much she.
Is she doing it at the Pembroke Library?
Yeah, the Pembroke Library. So, I saw a posting on Facebook about it, so I might, I'm thinking about going up there to see. 'Cause I do miss Ann, and she gives a really, really good session.
She does. She knows the science
Yep.
and she's very eloquent about how she presents it.
Yep.
And
She's really good at it. So, she's queen of compost. That's what they call her.
What date is it?
The 22nd,
Whatever Thursday.
next Thursday,
22nd?
Thursday, the 22nd. Yeah.
Is it evening?
It's 2:30 to 4 PM. An hour and a half. Called the Joy of Composting. And when I saw her name, that's when I was like, I'm like, who's doing this? And I put it, I'm like, that's gotta be Ann. So I looked at
Okay.
him, I'm like, it's Ann. Let's go say hi.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
It's not usually that often I'm over the bridge at that time of the day, but just go see Ann. I would sit in that any day. So.
Okay.
And that's a fun one. If you're into composting and stuff, like I said, and she gives a great talk on composting. She is just
Okay.
awesome.
well, she was my contact with the school grant
Yep.
and I helped her every year at the Marshfield Fair collecting
Mm.
organics.
Yep.
She's into
Yeah. So it's rare when she does these things because she's been retired now for a few years, but when she does them, it's like, I kind of got to go see it.
Yeah.
I watched one online when it was on Zoom back a year and a half ago,
Mhm.
but now that she's in person again, I'll probably go up there.
Okay. Great. Everett? You still with us?
Yes, I am.
You have any updates on what's happening in Plymouth with recycling and trash and organics?
Not today, I do not.
Okay, great. Well, it's always good to have you join us.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? David, did you have anything? Vanessa?
I talked a lot. I'm done.
All right, so our next meeting would be,
Is that a question or? September?
September 10th. How's that sound?
Great.
Okay,
Do you look motion here?
I am.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Okay,
10:43.
10:43.